Here's how to commission the SOLARWATT Manager for a SOLARWATT battery vision and SOLARWATT inverter vision system. The SOLARWATT Manager must be installed with the battery and inverter, as it lets the customer control and optimise their devices as well as visualise their system's data on the SOLARWATT Home app. The SOLARWATT Manager Flex 1.5 has a USB-C power adapter and an Ethernet adapter, which both must be connected. Although we don't recommend it, it's possible to connect the Manager Flex to Wi-Fi. However, you'll still need to connect it via Ethernet to the customer's router first. After being turned on for the first time and connected to the internet, the Manager will first check for any firmware updates. If it finds an update, it'll begin updating automatically, and this process can take a while, so we recommend updating the Manager by connecting it to the internet first, before installing your battery and inverter. You can tell that the Manager is updating because the blue lights on the front of it will display in a flashing sequence from top to bottom. When the lights stop flashing and there's a solid green light on the side of the Manager unit, the update is done, and you can continue the smart setup.
First of all, after you already installed both systems, the vision system and the Manager, and connected it to your local network, then you can start the setup for the Manager. For that, you have several ways to reach the Manager. First of all, you can enter the IP address in the browser. Alternatively, you can enter http://energymanager/ for Windows systems, or you can enter http://energymanager.local for macOS or Linux systems. Then you will reach the local setup surface of the SOLARWATT Manager, and here you will find two different setups. First of all is the system settings setup. Here you can choose system time zone, and you can enter your Wi-Fi setup, and you will find the em.setup. This is where all the magic happens for the rest of the setup. To enter, you also need the gateway password. You will find the password on the device itself. For rail systems, for rail managers, there's also an additional sticker included in the manual where you can find the password. Then let's start the setup. I click on the em.setup, and normally you will now see the mask where you can enter the password of the Manager. In my case, I already have an open session, so I'm forwarded to the surface. It's as follows. You have a step-by-step installation here. If you click below on the icon, you will get back to the screen before, to the start screen, and then we will have our device search here, where you can decide which devices are included to the Manager, which are added to the Manager. Then you will set up your PV plant. Afterwards, household and consumption, where you can define your setup in terms of counters and meters, and you have the summary. Down below you can see the serial number of the Manager, and you can always find the status. In this case it's uninitialized because we didn't start the setup yet. For the Wi-Fi setup, network setup, you can also click here, and then you will get to the setup. The most important part is to fill out the search. You have here the search mask, and if you click on it, you will find a lot of devices that you can add to the SOLARWATT Manager. In this case, you can also search for our vision portfolio, vision inverters, and the charger, SOLARWATT charger vision. Because the SOLARWATT Inverter Vision is a hybrid system. It also includes the battery part and the main meter part, so I will add the SOLARWATT Inverter Vision. Now the system asks if I want to detect the IP address of the inverter automatically, or if I want to put it in manually. In 99%, automatic is the right way to go. And you can add the device to search. So now it's added. If you want to, you can now also add some smart plugs or the charger and so on. You can all of these things put here into the mask. And afterwards, you click on search and install devices. Now the system is looking for the devices you add to the search. You can also stop it with this button if it takes too long. So first of all, we now found the inverter, and now we also have the storage part, the battery part here, the inverter part here, and the main meter here. So everything seems fine. The system is looking if there are more inverters in the network, and now it's finished. Because I'm in the laboratory at the moment, I don't have live values, but normally you can also see here the live values, so you can check if everything is working fine. So, and yeah, that's it. If you want, you can also add some more devices, as I said, or you can rename the devices here if you want to. But now we are ready to go for the next step. All right, then let's go on to the next step, PV plants. Therefore, I click on this next button here. What you recognize is that the first step is finished. So we have this green mark inside the box, so you can see that this is finished, and now we're in the next step. And for that, we add an PV plant if there's a PV plant on this site. So click here, and what you recognize is that the system automatically fills out most of the needed information. So it already includes the inverter for this site. It's the PV plant with a storage battery. If you have additional inverters, you can decide what to choose here. And it's also filled out with the power of the inverter and installation date and so on. For the curtailment, normally you don't have to change it. In some countries, the regulations may need it. So it means 100% there is no degradation of the system. You can use 100% of your installed power. So normally you don't have to change it. You can also enter the feed-in payment if there is a tariff. So in my case, I just type in 9 cents per kilowatt hour. And also the orientation and the inclination of the system is needed for PV forecasts for some cases. So in this case, it's a southern orientation, which is 0, and it's a 30-degree inclination. If you have more inverters installed, you can also add another PV plants. You can also rename your PV plant here. So you can do that, but it's not necessary. But if you want to use the forecast, then it's necessary to enter save and continue. Okay, after we set up the PV plant, we click on save and continue. And as I said before, you got some success notification, and you see the marks here in the box, so you can see that it was successfully. What is now done is, first of all, you set up your primary meter. In our case, it's between grid and PV plant. It's the standard for the battery installation. It's a bidirectional meter, and the included Gin Division meter is already selected here, so nothing to do. Afterwards, we check the PV plant. It's on the house side, so that's the standard configuration. If it's not on the house side, you can click on Assign Devices automatically, then it will get in that section. And also, if you have some consumers or small devices, you can check if there are here or if they are not balanced. So if it's not balanced, you can just visualize the consumption, but it's not included in PV optimization and stuff like that. But normally we would recommend to put it in the first order. So that's all. If you don't have any changes, it's just to check. The rest is done by the system. So, and afterwards we can go and check the summary. After you check the section household consumption, you're finished with the installation itself. You can click on Save and Continue. And now we're in the summary. You can see all boxes are green and marked as successfully, because now it's just the summary for you, where you can check if everything is as you wished, and where you could do some additional checks. You can lock the configuration if you want. In this case, there is no customer bound to the manager. You can invite your customer now, but normally we would recommend to do it before the installation and do it from your office with the SOLARWATT Installer Center. And yeah, now you can see also some information about the installation. So yeah, so that's also almost everything. You can test the curtailment if you want, and if you have set up something, you can print the setup, the summary as a PDF. And normally we would also recommend to do the restart of the gateway. So as I said, now everything is finished. You can close the local setup and forward to the SOLARWATT Home app to show everything to your customer.
After completing the EM setup process with the manager, you now need to invite the customer. This is done through the Installer Center, which you can access from installer.energymanager.com. From there, log into your Installer Center account, or make one if you haven't already. Click on the Customers tab, click Invite Customer to Portal. You'll then need to enter the customer's details. Make sure you enter the end customer's details and not your own. After that's done, make sure you've entered the correct serial number and PW password of the Energy Manager, and click Invite. You can then tell the customer to check their inbox for an invite. They'll be prompted to make an account and given options to accept or decline consent for remote access maintenance. Finally, tell them to download the SOLARWATT Home app so they can then begin visualizing their complete system. Things may take a few minutes to synchronize, but after that's done, they'll be able to manage their complete SOLARWATT Home installation from the palm of their hand.